Today we're going to talk about money, specifically trading as money, trading as the expectation of income, and the reality of it. People expect trading to be quick money and ideally passive income, right? That's kind of the general idea. That's what's floating around in the subconscious or public perception, sorry. But that's not really the case, you know? It's definitely not passive income, or at least I don't see it as something that should be considered that way. It's not passive income. A lot of people think that in just a few months, they're basically able to replace their salary. That means I'll spend a few months working on something here and I'll just turn it into, a paycheck. But that doesn't really happen either. It's more like wishful thinking, but in reality, it just doesn't work that way. It's not like that. It usually takes years of work, years of discipline, years of dedicating yourself to this subject. And only then can you actually replace your job. But it's definitely not something that happens in just a few months. Trading is simply a job. It's a regular job. It's not a money-making machine, right? That's just not how it works. Maybe that's the expectation that it could be like that, but the reality just isn't. Your income grows in proportion to your experience and the capital you trade with. It definitely starts with demo money, then you might move on to your own small amount of money to test your mindset, your psychology, and to see if it actually works for you with real money. After that, you might get involved with prop firms and so on. There are different branches, different ways you can go about it. For me, the ideal is perhaps a combination of both. Having your own funds gives you a bit more freedom in trading. And having a large amount of capital from a prop firm there, you really only need 5 or 10%. Even 5% is plenty if you have a big account. And combining these two things, I think that's probably the most effective, the most efficient approach. You can partly rely on income from the prop firm as well, but in the beginning, it puts a lot of pressure on you because there are certain restrictions. The prop account also has certain rules you have to follow, and that's not so simple. That means even if again, the wish is clear, I'll buy an account here that has $400,000 and I'll make those 5% with it. That's a nice wish, but in reality, it's just not that simple. It's about discipline, about those years of training, about that knowledge, and it's a kind of direct proportion. The more experience you have, the bigger the account should be, and maybe the bigger the profits, right? There's a direct proportion there. That's just how it is. The key is consistency. That means having consistent results. It doesn't matter if it's through small but systematic steps of growth, as long as those steps are consistently upward. Or maybe those steps are a bit bigger. The size of those steps isn't as important as the consistency that they're there and moving in the right direction. That means upward, like your account, your experience, your trades, and ultimately your results. It's not about coming to the market and making some big hit, like just one big bang and then I'm done, then I leave. That's just not what it's about. Again, it's a lot of those visions people have of how they'd like it to be. But it's more about those small, systematic steps rather than coming to the markets, making a bundle, and then not trading for a month or two or just enjoying yourself. And when the money runs out, going back to the casino for more money. So you have something to spend again. that's not how the markets work. That's not how trading works. And I dare say that maybe someone might get lucky once, but for it to happen repeatedly, for it to become some kind of system, that's just not possible. The markets simply don't work like that. So again, the reality is that most of those profits, those big profits, are made up of small systematic trades that then build your capital, that large profit. Yeah, it's really not about going out there and making some huge trade, you know. When it comes to huge trades, systematic trading, that's really not what a trader's life is about.